everyone, and welcome. My name is Matt Rojansky. I direct the Wilson Center's Kennan Institute. I want to thank everybody for joining us today to have a conversation with Galina Timchenko discussing Russia's independent media. Our conversation, of course, follows a series highlighting the voices of those facing recent government crackdowns on the opposition and the free press in Russia. You can watch our discussions with Lyubov Sobol, Leonid Volkov, and Vladimir Karamurza over the last several weeks via our website. Now, before I introduce Galina, I want to remind you, you can stay up to date with our upcoming events and publications, as well as our podcasts, Kennan X and The Russia File, and our blogs, The Russia File and Focus Ukraine. All of that is on our website. Lastly, I invite you to read our series, Rule of Silence, interviews with journalists, human rights lawyers, and other experts on foreign agents legislation and Russia's information politics. Those interviews are available in both English and Russian and have been conducted by the Kennan Institute's senior advisor, Sergei Parkhomenko. Throughout today's discussion, including right now, if you want to pose a question for Galina, simply email it to Kennan, Kennan, at wilsoncenter.org, tweet it at Kennan Institute, or post it on our Facebook page. And please do include your name and affiliation so that I know who's asking the question. Now to introduce Galina Timchenko. She is a Russian journalist and executive editor of Meduza, which is a Riga, Latvia-based online news site. She started Meduza in October of 2014 with a number of former journalists from Lenta.ru, from which she was fired in March of that year, in what was believed to be a turn towards more pro-Kremlin leadership. She joined Lenta in 1999, rising from monitoring officer to chief editor in 2004. From 1997 to 1999, she worked as an editor at Kommersant. On April 23rd, the Russian Ministry of Justice added Meduza to its list of foreign agents. And those of us who read Meduza regularly will have seen the appearance of that mandatory box on the website. It hasn't, of course, stopped us from reading the news on Meduza. The designation, though, did limit Meduza's primary source of revenue, which is advertisers. However, thanks to a robust crowdfunding effort, the publication has so far been able to stay afloat. It has had to cut costs, dramatically reducing salaries and eliminating its physical office, and of course anticipates future cuts. Galina, under these particularly challenging circumstances, you're very kind to take time to talk to us today. Very interested to hear your explanation of what is going on with Meduza specifically. What does it mean for independent media more broadly in Russia and in the Russian language? And is this the beginning of, in effect, a new era of information control? So the floor is yours, Galina, and we'll have a discussion afterwards.
Hi, and thank you for inviting me. Thank you for listening, and thank you for taking part in these crucial events about Russian media. So yeah, we were labeled as foreign agent. And as far as we could count this month, we lost more than 2 million euros of possible revenue, because our revenue plan was 3.4 million euro. But, you know, more or less, we understood that we lost more than 2 or approximately 3 million euro of possible revenue. So our business model, our revenue model was crushed in a minute. So actually a month ago, me and my co-founder, editor-in-chief of Meduza, Ivan Kolpakov, we decided to close this entity forever and to stop making journalism at all. Because, you know, we were prepared. We thought that we are prepared for this end from the very beginning. We started Meduza at 2014 during Crimea annexation and during this Ukrainian war. And we thought that there were tough times, but we were very naive. Because these 6 years, we could live and develop almost freely inside European Union, but Russian State Duma and Kremlin they imposed too many laws. Every of those laws restricts media. We counted more than 80 laws and under law documents that restricted freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and freedom of spreading information inside Russia. So we faced this law, and we saw, you mentioned it, we saw three major consequences. First of all, dramatically loss of our revenue and crushing of our business models. Second, this plaque or this mandatory box with 24 words, this message was created by foreign agent. This is the visual part of iceberg. The main part and the most dangerous part are personal risks for our journalists, because not only Meduza, but every of my staff could be labeled as foreign agent personally. So what does it mean to them? It means that they will stay in this blacklist forever. You should fill in 84 pages of report to Ministry of Justice every month, from your painkiller to the sort of tea you drink. Every spending dollar or ruble, you should put in this report. You should report every 3 months, 84 pages, every 3 months. And if you could, for example, you are special correspondent of Meduza and you labeled as a foreign agent, you quit Meduza, you resign, and you will go to the court and you will take off this label. But the law does not prepare to take off your name. You will be in blacklist forever, because the court should decide that you are not foreign agent anymore. But inside blacklist, you will be mentioned as ex-foreign agent from this date to this date. So you will be in blacklist forever. So personal risks to my special correspondents, reporters, freelancers is very high. And as far as we could understand from the court documents, and we went to court to dispute this decision, we could see that Ministry of Justice had prepared to declare me as a foreign agent personally, but at the last moment they decided not to declare me. So, but the sign of this decision, we could see it in the documents. So, you know, I could see that this is personal attack or Kremlin attack, not against all free or independent media, but exactly against Meduza, because we are now one of the, or maybe the most popular and independent media with the biggest audience. We have more than 12, from 12 to 15, according to the months, of unique users. We have more than 100 million hits every month. So we are the most popular, and the average of our readers are from 24 to 35. This is the youngest and the most advertising friendly audience. This is so-called young adults living in the big cities. So this is our audience is the most dangerous audience for Kremlin, because they are activists who stand against fake elections, who stand for Alexei Navalny and his anti-corruption foundation. So it seems to me that according to my sources, the decision about Meduza's labeling as a foreign agent was made on the Security Council of Russia special meeting. You know, for me, is it something insane? Security Council of country with 150 million population decides to label Latvian media as a foreign agent inside Russia. It's some kind of craziness. It's the most stupid thing that costs us more than 2 million euro. So the major consequences are loss of revenue, personal risks for our correspondents, and the most painful result of this decision is that our news sources, our newsmakers, they refuse to talk to us. Sometimes they say on the anonymity conditions, but most of them decided not to speak to us because they are frightened, they are scared. For example, this month we lost 8 journalists and editors. For example, our special correspondent who worked with so-called siloviki, FSB, police, and so on, because nobody wanted to talk. They said, okay, guys, you are foreign agent now. We could not talk to you. So speaking in general, there is some kind of ban of our occupation, of our job. We are prohibited journalists, because Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Press Secretary Maria Zakharova, during this St. Petersburg so-called economic forum, she said that nothing has happened. So, okay, they put this mandatory box on their content and that's all. No, unfortunately, we lost not just our revenue. We not put lives and freedom and everyday habits on risk of our correspondents, but they discriminated us. They cut off our newsmakers. And we know for sure that State Duma is preparing special law against donations. For example, they are going to declare or to label Alexei Navalny Anti-Corruption Foundation as an extremist, and they are developing law against people who donate or even give advice or even literally express support in social media. They banned them from the participation in any kind of elections. They are going to ban them to take part in elections. So there are huge consequences, but our problem that unfortunately we could not see a solidarity campaign. You know, 2 years ago, Meduza's special correspondent Ivan Golunov was arrested. Some drugs were put and planted inside his backpack, and he was falsely accused of drug dealing and drug possession. We managed to save him. And this week, the verdict against policemen who planted drugs into his backpack was declared. They get from 5 up to 12 years in prison. And okay, justice is done. But, you know, during Ivan Golunov's arrest, during Ivan Golunov's case, there was a huge campaign of solidarity. Now I am talking with editors-in-chief of independent media inside Russia. We, Meduza, we are participants of so-called Syndicate 100. It's some kind of association of independent media inside Russia. We are exchanging content, we are exchanging newsmakers and so on, and we're trying to help each other. And you know, there is some kind of separation and some kind of fear about what is happening to Meduza. Some of our colleagues say, okay, guys, you know, you are labeled as a foreign agent. Yeah, so you should put this obligatory mandatory box. And it seems to me that's all, nothing happened. Because this law about foreign agent, it was imposed 5 years ago against some of NGOs. Nothing happened. They are working inside Russia and so on. So they downgraded the threat. Some of our colleagues trying to help us, trying to talk to their audience about what was happened with Meduza, what is happening with independent media inside Russia. And some of our colleagues are different, but unfortunately, we could not see this huge campaign of solidarity. I spoke with some, unfortunately, on the conditions of anonymity with some editors-in-chief, and they said that they separate independent media. For example, some of them, business news and business media, Kremlin said, guys, you are okay. We are not going to declare you foreign agent. Please sleep well. Some of them said, you are the next, you are the next. Some of them are hanging on a hook. They said, okay, we will see how you will behave yourself. And I know for sure that Kremlin is insisted of changing of editors-in-chief of some independent media. And in nearest 2 or 3 months, we could see the replacement of editors-in-chief in some independent, so-called independent media. So the main problem may be that now we are fighting with Kremlin with the help of some of our colleagues, but there is no one voice against these repressions and discrimination, unfortunately. What did we do? We realized that we have no advertisers at all, but we have our audience, we have our devoted readers. All these years, Meduza now is almost 6 years old. All these years, we were developing our platform broadcasting. For example, we developed special condition of broadcasting on different platforms, social media, email subscription, email letters, messengers, even Instagram, and so on. Special policy for each platform, special team for each platform, special KPI and our goals for each platform. And now we're broadcasting on 10 platforms. And we realized that we have our audience. So we started campaign. We said, guys, we have no advertisers at all, but we have you. Save Meduza with us. So, and now we could say that 85,000 people gave us money support. So almost 100,000 supported us. we donate us our money, their money. And, you know, we said absolutely clear, crystal clear, guys, we need some time and some space to regroup, to rethink our business models. Our system of broadcasting gave us this chance. We could promise you the one and only thing. If you decide to support us, we will continue to do our job and to try to fight against Kremlin attempts to shut us down. So, and now almost 100,000 people support us. And it seems to me it was vital for our team because Meduza is independent media, and you know, we are one of the most criticized media broadcasting in Russia. We were in the middle of very hard discussions about ethical standards, about professional standards, about topics, about agenda, about time and publication of publications and so on. But and our team used to be such scapegoat, something like this. But now we receive this huge way of love. You know, our readers, they wrote every day that we start the day with you and we finish the day with you. Please broadcast, please write and leave, and we will do everything to continue Meduza's journey. So it seems to me that it's one of the most successful donation campaign in Russian media history. But what could I say? We could start campaign, but we could not do the same thing every day. We could not say, guys, we are dying every day. We should show some sign of hope to our readers as well. We must show them this, maybe not just hope, but readiness to fight, readiness to survive, this survival spirit, you know, because we are inside Russia and outside Russia. We are living and working from 9 countries. So we have our special correspondents inside Belarus, for example, and now we evacuated 2 of them from Belarus. And now we evacuated 2 special correspondents from Russia because they received direct threats from police. And one of our investigative journalists received direct threats from Evgeny Prigozhin. You know, this is so-called Putin's cook and the owner of Troll Fabrics all across Russia. So we received the direct threats because we published an article about his finances and about his new initiative. And we called him for the comment, and he says literally the following: you know, in Soviet Union, there were enemies of state, and Soviet Union shoot them to death. You, Meduza, are the same. You deserve the same destiny. So we received direct threat, unfortunately. But what we received this wave of love, wave of trust, and we restore the average of audience. Because, you know, this COVID year showed us that Russian audience started to show some kind of tiredness of bad news. we compared numbers and saw that almost every independent media feel the decline of audience. People are too tired of bad news. People started not to mention this bad news and decided to not to read them. But after this situation with labeling us, we saw the growth in our audience, and we saw the growth of downloading app. I'm almost out of time, but what can I say in conclusion? You know, unfortunately, Kremlin and Russian authorities have too many tools to kill us. They could declare us undesirable organization, and every connection to us will be will be prosecuted as a crime. They could block us inside Russia. They could do whatever they want. Even in this foreign agent law, Ministry of Justice have no obligation to explain why they put us into this list. So they have too many tools. And unfortunately, it's some kind of desperate journey. But with the help of our readers, we now hope, full of hope, that we could survive, maybe broadcasting from different platforms, maybe after dissolving Big Meduza to many small entities, and we started this process. We started to separate YouTube shows, podcasts from Meduza to avoid this foreign agent label. So we are living with the hope, but you know, this hope is tiny. Actually, we speaking about what is happening in Russia. Russia is closing, and the door is closing, and the wall is almost ready. I could compare it with Berlin Wall. The wall is almost ready. And unfortunately, my vision of future is too pessimistic maybe, but we could see that it is fun fact. A year ago, I listened to the lecture of one guy in a media conference who said, you are living in 20th century, not in 21st century, if you do not try to get money from your readers. And now we are in this situation that we have to ask money from our readers. We succeed in a short perspective, and our future is too foggy. It seems to me that's all. You can ask me the questions. It's half an hour. It seems to me it's okay.
Yeah, thank you very much, Galina. Let me again remind our viewers that if you have a question, you email Kenan, Kennan, wilsoncenter.org. You can tweet us or you can post on Facebook. Let me start. You mentioned the term from Soviet times, enemy of the state, which I think it would be fair to say that in the Soviet period, at least for a certain considerable portion of the Soviet population, that label was a badge of honor. Certainly by the end of the Soviet system, it was, you know, a sign that a person was an honest person. And I wonder if the foreign agent label is heading in that direction in today's Russia. And I guess related to that, I'm recalling in the Soviet system, there were alternate channels of communication. They were imperfect, but you think about that as an example. Is this phenomenon creating a market for something other than what you might call the new traditional news website? So something like a Telegram-based information service like Nechta in Belarus or something. Anyway.
Speaking about Soviet Union and labeling us as an enemy of state, you know, when Ministry of Justice put us in this blacklist, we received hundreds of letters with the comments, guys, this is mark of quality. Congratulations. But you know, the tricky situation is that now Duma is preparing this new law against donations and improvement. And this new law could divide, could separate our audience. Now, Meduza has big audience, and we have this almost unanimous opinion that this is quality mark. This is absolutely okay. We will continue to read you. Our readers wrote us. But you know, some of them said, guys, this mandatory box is too disturbing. I just do not want to see this. I live in America. I live in France. I just do not want to see. Why should I see this? And we try to explain one more time. What does it mean for real? So now it seems to me that this mandatory box plays the role of banner. You know, it's some kind of banner blindness. So after 3 or 4 weeks, you just do not notice. But actually, common opinion for now is the following. Guys, we just do not care, foreign agent or not, we will continue to read you until you will be blocked or something. We are devoted readers. So comparing to the Soviet Union, I could say that our readers inside Russia, they are not too scared to read us, and they are not scared to donate. But, you know, speaking about special readers, for example, celebrities or opinion makers, we know for sure from the first hands that too many of them transfer money to Meduza as donation anonymously or through their friends or ex-wives or some kind of their staff. So they, and we know for sure that some of them are paying price for supporting Meduza. For example, we knew 2 actors who were banned and excluded from TV series and from TV programs after supporting Meduza. Speaking about new way of broadcasting, sure, we are prepared, and we have, for example, our Telegram channel is one on the top 5 of media Telegram channels inside Russia. We have more than 500,000 readers only in one Telegram channel, Meduza Live. But you know, actually comparing with our desktop and mobile version audience, it's not, it's maybe 15% of our audience, 10%. So we will try and to keep them on any price, and we will try to broadcast. For example, Telegram, Russian authorities could not block Telegram inside Russia. So we hope that maybe some kind of Google services or some kind will help us to avoid blocking or broadcasting from Telegram. And yes, this is new way of broadcasting. But, you know, Russian authorities, they became good students. They were bad students, but last 5 years showed us that 5 years ago, they could not block our app. And now they are slowing down Twitter. So we are developing, but they are developing as well against us.
I think this question from Professor Elizabeth Wood, former Kennan Institute scholar who's at MIT, I think it's related directly to what you just described. She asks, can you tell us more what you mean about dissolving big Meduza? How will it operate differently? How will it operate on different platforms? Excuse me.
5 years ago, we developed special principles how to broadcast on different platforms. And we call it LGBT flag, because we asked 7 questions and labeled every question with every color. For example, you see platform, is it friendly platform to the media? Okay, yes, if you say okay, you label it with, for example, red color. Are there many people inside this platform? Yes, red color. Is this audience our audience, young adults? Yes, orange color. And if you could make LGBT flag saying yes to all these questions, this platform is yours. You should broadcast on it. So we decided and we started to broadcast, and our priorities is not just Facebook and Vkontakte, the main Russian social, the main social media popular inside Russia, but we started to broadcast inside Instagram. You know, in Russia, there was an idea that Instagram is closed social media, so some kind of ecosystem, closed ecosystem, because there are a very few possibilities to convert the audience of Instagram to your audience. But we managed to do this because our main goal was to call to action, to push our audience to interact with Meduza, with our application and with our Instagram. We made polls, we made quizzes, we made games, news gaming, and so on, to make people not be scared to interact with us. And we developed special policy for every platform. For example, Telegram is allowing us to publish the hot news, breaking news, and it's very fast, more fast than Twitter, for example. So we decided that Meduza Live will be the news channel to spread only news. Speaking about Instagram, we decided that this COVID year, during safe isolation, during these quarantine measures, we will try to support our readers. So our Instagram is the cutest account in Russian media. It just all about smiling, all about hugs, all about support, warm-hearted, humor, and so on. So we are emotionally hugged our readers in Instagram using these pictures or these polls or some kind of quizzes or something like this. For example, our Facebook is almost all our account on Facebook is devoted to the long reads and long features and about our investigative reports, because Russian Facebook is a special special place where the most hot discussions is organized. So we're trying to develop strategy for every platform, and we have special KPI for every platform for every quarter of the year. We do not count the absolute numbers, but we counting the growth. So and we approved strategy, and we rethinking strategy every quarter or half of the year if needed.
We have a number of audience questions that I want to as well, about 15 minutes remaining. Let me ask you though, I understand very well you're responsible for paying your team, so financial support is important, but you're also responsible for people's safety, and especially I would say the safety of people who are in Russia, who are subject to the jurisdiction of Russian law enforcement, which is putting people in prison and even torturing people. So if we think kind of conservatively about the future, what is possible without having Meduza correspondents physically subject to Russian jurisdiction, if you don't feel safe with people in that situation?
You know, actually, when Ministry of Justice labeled us, we've got big editorial meetings, and it was the first time in Meduza's history when I said, guys, put all the news aside, all the publication plans aside. We have vital questions about your security and about your future and about your everyday life and safety of your families, your kids, and so on. So from this 23rd of May, every decision we make, we made it unanimously voted for every person inside Meduza. We founders said, guys, we are ready to take responsibility, but we want you to decide by yourself how all about your future. We will support you in any decision. If you decide to quit Meduza, we will support you and make whatever we could to pay, to give you a safe path, and so on. If you decide to stay inside, we asked lawyers from so-called Правозащита Открытки, it Open Russia lawyers team to help us with this situation. So we have our lawyers. Then we hired lawyers to help us to fill in all these reports. And we said to our people, if you stay with us, we will hire and we will pay for these lawyers to fill in all these reports. And then we had meetings with Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Latvia and Ministry of Foreign Affairs of some European countries. And we asked to develop measures to urgent evacuation and visas for some of our staff, and to special safe path to those of them who decide to work inside Russia, but they should have visas and they should have safe path to European Union. So the officials from Latvia and European Union promised us to give us this safe path. And as I said, we evacuated 2 of our special correspondents, one from Belarus, one from Moscow. So we tried this, and we managed to succeed. They are now in Latvia and they are safe. What else? Lawyers, safe path, visas, urgent evacuation, and security measures and digital security as well.
Let me ask a question from Jill Doherty, who is also a global fellow at the Wilson Center and one of your colleagues, longtime reporter in Moscow. She asks, who is your primary audience now? Whom do you want to reach? And you mentioned attracting more readers, but with Russian readers, is that sustainable?
We know our readers very well. Maybe 2 years ago, the core of our readers were 18 plus young people, from 18 to 25. And 3 years ago, we put the goal to be the main media for young adults. And we succeed now. 53% of our readers are under 35, but older than 24. So, and 70% of our readers are younger than 40. They live in the big cities, and top 5 cities for sure: Moscow, St. Petersburg, Kazan, Novosibirsk, and London. Too many Russians in London and London. Yeah, and our staff, they are in these age boxes as well. They are from 25 to 40. So we broadcasting for our friends, for sure, for people who share with us our values. So it's easy to communicate with them. They understood us very deeply because, for example, we last year, before labeling us for an agent, we started a new application. We wrote this application on the new language. It's equal for App Store and for Google Play. It was very tough, and we decided to start building community. And we ask our readers, do you want to be testers for our new app? And we received almost 5,000 yes letters. We want to be your testers. So now, for sure, we have community of almost 300 testers, but they are devoted professional testers who are working with us more than half a year. And every product now we developing and publishing, we at first we tested with our community and then make it public.
Okay, we have just 10 minutes and I think 2 more questions will fit perfectly. So one is from Mike Billington. He says, did I assume the Russian government say anything about Meduza's funding from the US, the UK, or others from government-linked NGOs like NED, the National Endowment for Democracy?
No, RT, 2 years ago, RT found tender of Latvian Investment and Development Agency. We won this competition and we made a podcast called Labi. It's, in Latvian, about Latvia. It was tender or competition to making podcast promoting traveling to Latvia. And we won and we received this Latvian government money for producing this podcast. So we made our KPI, we received money for this, we produced this podcast, and this podcast was one of reasons we were declared, because guy who filled the complaint, he described that you published this podcast sponsored by Latvian Investment Agency to promote Latvia, so you are a foreign agent. Okay.
Okay, and then the final question, let me just ask you to look a little bit towards the future here. Obviously, no one can predict, no one probably should predict any reduction in the pressure and the closing of the information space in Russia. But is it possible that this is linked to a specific problem for the Kremlin, like the Duma election in the fall after Putin's constitutional change? This is viewed as a very important election. Do you think there's some possibility that after that space will open again or things will change?
Unfortunately, I am very pessimistic about this. It's very popular idea that after September election, they just open up jaws and they will be more kind or more transparent or more calm. But unfortunately, this train is one-way train. There is no possibility when you start repressions. And I want to mention that repressions are underway. They are already started. Mass repressions. There is no way back. There is one-way train. And I do not believe, actually, I think from time to time, they could fake this election brilliantly. They learned how to fake elections. Why are they so nervous? And I understand that local protests in Far East Russia, in Russian North, so-called garbage riots, when Moscow and big cities tried to put their garbage in the Russian North. So Yekaterinburg and Ural cities, these local protests, it seems to me it was trigger. And the next trigger was Belarusian events and these summer and autumn protests. And Lukashenko, he drowned his country in blood. He smashed those peaceful, beautiful protests in the most brutal way. And for now, unfortunately, it seems to me that this is the most possible scenario, that this insane dictator, Alexander Lukashenko, are role model for Kremlin. And they decided that he is very effective, and they decided to go on, to stay on his way. And I repeat, but this is just one way. There is no way back.
But I think it's very—
We're Russians.
Yeah, just like right, just like literature. But no, I think, Galina, it's a very accurate warning. We are all so grateful for the work that you continue to do. I for one, read Meduza, I think, daily.
Thank you. Thank you. Please read us.
You'll see my email address is on the list of your many subscribers. And I want to thank you again for joining us. I want to thank our audience and thank all of you for the questions. And encourage you again to come to our website, where you'll find a recording of this event, as well as our recent series looking at the state of Russian media, rule of silence. So please come and join us in the future. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.